Hi, I'm Sandy Kinzel. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Dare County Schools. In Dare County, we offer the ASEP program, which stands for the After School Enrichment Program, but we have transformed it this year into a summer program called the All Summer Enrichment Program for the students of Dare County, age 6 through 11.
It's your basic summer camp. Our whole plan was to have something that included some learning in a fun way for the children so that they could continue learning throughout the summer so you don't have that lag of not having anything educational through the summer. It gives them also the opportunity to socialize, to be part of a group, to learn new things, but not in a way where they feel like they're really being taught things, learning by experience.
The program entails activities that involve students at 4 different sites this year. Kitty Hawk Elementary School, First Flight, which serves both First Flight and Nags Head students, Banio Elementary School, and finally Cape Hatteras Elementary School. Students at the program come in, they're engaged with learning activities, field trips that take them off campus to allow them to explore the community. And it also invites special speakers to come in from various agencies throughout the county to be able to provide educational programming while the students are in our care.
I'm Nehemiah, aka Nemo, and I get a Manio. Today I'm at the aquarium looking and learning about fish. I'm having a great time. We go on other field trips. We go outside and play in the gym. And we go downtown on Wednesdays. I'm having a really fun summer.
It begins 2 weeks after school lets out and runs up until 2 weeks before school starts. The hours are 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and during that time they're getting breakfast, a morning snack, lunch, and an afternoon snack.
My name is Cory and I'm going into 2nd grade. We're at the aquarium seeing a lot of animals. My favorite thing I've seen today is the stingrays. I've been going to Festival Park, watching magic shows. I've been going to the gym and outside.
I feel like every child should have the opportunity to grow and learn new things all day long. And it doesn't just have to be in the classroom. It could be something that they're exposed to with other adults, with each other. I think that the world for them should be just this huge classroom where they can explore and touch and feel and learn at their own pace, but every day that they learn something new. So I feel like that's really important.
It's been a great partnership. We're so thankful to have these students on board. We currently have 4 welders that are students at the school who are working every day at our facility here in Mans Harbor. Welding is a trade that is a very high demand trade, and we're always struggle to find the skilled talent, and the school has been able to provide a very good link for us to that talent here.
With this partnership set up as like an intern apprenticeship, they can go in and work whatever hours they're not in school. It could be, they could work 4 hours a week or they could work 20 hours a week. It has given them a real life scenario, welding, training that they're actually welding the beams in all kinds of different positions. They're dealing with different types of configurations of joints, and this is training them, and it just makes them more valuable for them to go and pursue their career, because welding is not just a job, it's a career.
The Ferry Division works on all the ships throughout North Carolina, and they come in and they'll get their services, If they need fixing in the hull, we'll do that. If they need engine work, they do that. You paint, all that stuff. It helps us a lot because it pays us to do it so we can put that money back into our education, and it gives us real life experience that big time employers would like Newport News or other bigger shipyards of that nature.
The welding program here is offering me great experience. They tell us who we're shadowing and what we're doing, and then they set us up and they watch us as we assist. We've gotten to weld on things out there, and of course the foreman will come around and look at everybody's work and speak to each of us separately.
We work when we don't have classes. So, for example, in the summer is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then we go over there, work full days, Thursday and Friday. I like the hands-on part, but I like putting things together and seeing them come together.
American Welding Society still says there's over 400,000 welding jobs open in the United States at this time. And we get emails from the Tidewater area that there's over 17,000. And naturally, we can't create one overnight. It does take time and training. If you're interested in welding, if you're a high school student, check into with your guidance counselor. They have dual enrollment programs we have here. You gain college credit at the same time that you gain your high school credit. We'd love to have you come by and check out some of our open houses.
We're hoping to take this partnership and grow it. The school is in our own backyard here, and it gives us a lot of opportunity to seek the skilled talent that we really need. Our shipyard is a great job for these students here. It provides them long-term employment, and we really hope to be able to leverage some of their talent and turn it into something a little more long-term.
The NEH Dialogues on Experience of War is a program that was designed to discuss the concept of war with veterans and veteran families and also World War II survivors from the Mariana Islands who experienced the Battle of Saipan. Saipan is in the Western Pacific. It's sort of just south and east of Japan. Saipan is in the Mariana Islands, and it's one of the most populated islands there. It was home to the indigenous Chamorro and Carolinian people, and it's a very dynamic population because it's had many colonial sort of interventions. And so we saw the Spanish come in, and also the Germans, Americans, the Japanese, and so there's a long history of sort of colonial interludes in the Marianas as well. We took a team of ECU professors who were part of the programming from the English department in film studies and also education and maritime studies. And we ran the dialogues program. We had a project for 2 weeks. The first week was training local discussion leaders, so people who had an interest in history, humanities, veteran issues. And so we trained them for a week while we were there to become discussion leaders, to hold the discussions for the folks, the veterans, the veteran families who wanted to participate in that week-long discussion.
Some will die not uttering a word of his or her experience in war. But there is a portion of that collective history, our human experience, our relationship with those veterans, that we can talk about the subject of war, the issue of war, where it's a collective human experience. That's how we can continue to make them living and breathing entities of our collective history.
We did everything from different discussion sessions every night where we discussed a different topic each night with humanities content that ranged from film to graphic novels to heritage sites that we did go and visit on the final days of the discussion session. Poetry, we used all kinds of materials.
One of our themes was the enemy, and we used the John Borman film Hell in the Pacific
to talk about the nature of the enemy and the very thin line in between friend and enemy, especially when survival is on the line. And this was a particularly meaningful topic. This was the night that we had a few veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan, and after the discussion, one of them talked about how the film elicited a lot of the emotions of war that he felt and kind of the disillusionment coming back, and he thanked the Vietnam veterans in the audience for providing a language for us to be able to discuss the experience of war in terms of its traumatic impact. As part of the conflict heritage theme, we actually went out and visited some sites, and so we did terrestrial and underwater. We took folks out on a boat and gave them a snorkel and a mask and took them to World War II sites, so planes, tanks, shipwrecks, and they snorkeled the sites and were able to learn a little bit more about the history. And for the terrestrial, we took them to some of the caves that were used during World War II, even by some of their family members, but also the Japanese and the US, and talked about how the history of the caves are not just World War II, but they extend all the way to their ancestors.
The second theme that I worked with was the civilian. And one of our humanities courses were collected oral survivor stories from the Battle of Saipan. And these were collected from elders who had actually survived the Battle of Saipan by living in caves. Who collected these stories were typically relatives, and they were children. So they were elementary and middle school and high school age children who collected these stories, transcribed these stories, or paraphrased them in a written document and then illustrated them. So after reading a collection of these stories, then what we did as participants is we created a visual representation from our own understanding of what it must have been like to be a civilian during that time.
So, going back to my grandma, she is my warrior, and she lost 4 children during war and a husband. She literally came out with just one daughter who was 8 years old at that time. And when I lost my son, who is a veteran as well, I went to the grave and I asked my grandma, how did you live to 60-some years losing your children during war? And there was no group, compassionate group that time or whatever. How did you survive? But now I know, because I lost a child, my son, and I said, okay, Grandma, I have your heart, and I have your stamina. You are a strong woman, I am a strong woman.
Not being involved, if you're not a veteran, if you're not involved in a battle, understanding it from the perspective of being on site or seeing the vehicles that are used or the machines that are used is important in understanding the veterans' experience of war. And so to take the families out alongside the veterans and really looking at like how big these vehicles are and how many people it would take to actually operate these vehicles, and then what are the battle scars that you see, and we pointed some of those out in the field, personalizing that experience. There's nothing like actually visiting a site to really get a sense of what happened there.